I'm so mad that we never quite managed to get that last episode under an hour. If I just hadn't forgotten to buy sleep on Fran, we would have been fine. Wow, what a battle though, and we are safely now back to Bujerba. Starting out today, I thought it might be nice to read a little bit about the Stroll, the airship we flew here on. So, this is described in the clan primer as an airship designed and built by YPA, a shipwrights guild of Arcades. Originally, it was named the YPA GB47 Test Combat Fighter. Production was halted, though, after the completion of a single test model due to dissatisfaction on the part of the Imperial customer with a costly, dual-movable wing design. It was scheduled for scrapping. Balthier liberated the ship at the last moment, and he has since modified the Stroll to his tastes with a new engine and numerous other augmentations, making it a very different ship from the one envisaged by its YPA inventors. So it was already quite a weird ship, and now it's even weirder because of the way that Balthier is fiddled and messed with it. So good stuff, dude. Good stuff. Now, do people have new things to say? The airships often pass beneath this bridge. How often I have seen a great Arcadian warship pass and wanted to throw a stone at it. Really? So it sounds like these guys haven't really updated or anything. Yeah, they haven't. Okay, that's good. So, wow, to recap, Vossler left with Lamont for a second, and, sorry, I can now say Larsa for a second. Penello was with Larsa, and it seems like they kind of made friends. Now, you kind of see this off screen, but don't forget, Penello was hanging out with Larsa for, like, a whole day, maybe 2 whole days. And we just kind of bump into each other in the airship almost. But Larsa's helping us. He doesn't like this conspiracy. He doesn't like this whole thing with these two being said to be dead. What was the exact phrasing? Something like, this is a thread that if we put that it's been laid unbare, and if we tug on it, we never know what will happen. And so, I don't know. I mean, he seemed really, really nice to the Dalmascans so far. Not your typical member of House Solidor. Or maybe Vane's not the typical member of House Solidor. Or just the Imperials in general. Who knows? Alright, so we do have Penello with us now. We've got 6 people to mess about with. But first, let's just go straight back up to Ondor. In quiet this time. And hopefully we won't, you know, we won't have to put on a show. He won't have to get on us in the airship. So if it wasn't clear, he can get us onto the airship as prisoners, kind of as a way to have us free Amalia, or so that's what Barsh seemed to think. It's kind of a double benefit to him. He looks like he's still on the Imperial side, and at the same time, you know, we actually can end up breaking him out. He gets Vossler, an agent, up there. He actually does a lot. So, seems like Ondor's pretty straight up at this point. His Excellency has given orders that you are to be granted an audience. You are prepared. So we have the Princess of Dalmasca with us. The question is, how do we prove it? And what's she going to want to do? She's been in captivity for a while.
When Vossler learned my father had been killed the night of the treaty signing, he returned to Ravenaster, there to aid my escape. There was still time before Vane's reach extended too far. We thought that you could protect me.
However, when I then made the announcement that you had taken your own life, I must have seemed a model citizen of the Empire. The announcement, you see, was Vane's suggestion. Of course, at the time I was reluctant, but I could not perceive his reasons. Now it is clear he meant to drive a wedge between us.
Halim, we are past all this. Bujerba must stand with us. We can stop Vane.
I once knew a girl whose only wish was to be carried in her uncle's arms. Your Majesty is a woman grown now.
Then Bujerba will aid me.
Suppose for a moment you were to defeat Vane. What then? You cannot simply rebuild your kingdom with the only proof of your birthright stolen. Without that, the Grand Kiltias on Bor-Omises cannot and will not recognize your Majesty as the rightful heir.
The Grand Kiltias.
You may yet be a princess, but without proof of your identity, you are powerless. You will remain with me. We do nothing till the time is right.
I cannot just wait.
Then what does your majesty propose we do?
Uncle Halim.
I just want to clarify this uncle thing. No, Ondor is not King Ramanas's brother or anything like that. They're saying uncle like, you know, you got a really close friend of the family growing up, so you call them uncle or auntie. It's just a term of endearment and affection. In Japan, there's a much more precise word for this. I think it's one of the sans or something. But over here, they went with uncle instead. There's no, like, bloodline connection.
Uncle Halim.
Incidentally, what is the going rate for rescuing princesses these days?
Balthier's got to get his.
Food would be a start. The good stuff, mind you.
This can be arranged, though it will take some time.
Time enough for a bath, I hope. Dirty business, you know. Best bring a change of clothes, too.
Now remember, the Grand Kiltius at Bert Omeses. Bert Omeses is a mountain, very far away. But those guys have to basically affirm she is the queen. And they won't do it. How are they supposed to?
What are you doing? This is Balthier's ship.
I'm going to retrieve the Dawn Shard. It's the proof that I need. I know where it's hidden.
Dawn Shard, not dust.
I'll return his airship later.
Are you crazy?
This is something that I have to do. Not only for myself, but for all those who have fallen. I will not be made to hide. I'll fight alone if I must.
You still have Bosch, right? Besides, you can't just go around stealing people's ships. What are you trying to do?
I'm trying to concentrate.
That's quite enough, Your Majesty.
What do you think?
A bit over the top.
In my line of work, you never know when something like this might come in handy.
I'm trying to concentrate.
I'm leaving you with the Marquis.
You can't!
Trust me, you're better off staying here.
Suppose you kidnapped me instead. You're a sky pirate, aren't you? Then steal me. Is that so much to ask?
What do you have that I would want?
The Dynast King's treasure. The Dawn Shard is but one of the riches that lie waiting in King Wraithwall's tomb.
King Wraithwall, you say?
Kidnapping royalty is a serious offense. It won't do much to lower the bounty on your head.
How much is the price on your head these days, I wonder?
Allow me to escort you in Vossler's place.
Will you be joining us?
What? Are you kidding? I don't want to stick around this place.
Then I'm coming too.
Canelo?
Don't leave me here.
Of course not.
Then it's settled. We should leave before the Marquis realizes she's missing, like proper kidnappers.
So we have something of an adventuring band. And Varn and Pinello feel like the odd ones out almost. So Arcadian Empire. This is it. This is Arcades. The city is Arcades, by the way. And from now on in the story, we're going to start getting a few flashes over here. Many miles away. Well, they've got a hell of an artifact for themselves now. I love the judge theme, man. It's so good. At last, guys, we might be about to meet the actual Emperor. Emperor Gramis Solidor.
Dr. Sid, does this set Draclaw?
I have confirmed he receives funds from Lord Vane. His agency in the fall of Nabudis is also certain. Yet, with Judge Zect, who led the assault, missing, the truth remains difficult to ascertain.
Vane and Sid destroyed Nabudis?
The long, cold years have clouded my eyes. I cannot see my own son's heart.
My lord.
This illness will claim me. So then, who is to be my successor? The Senate fears the capable Peregrine Vane. They prefer a young fledgling emperor. Gabranth, once in the past I laid siege to your homeland.
The Republic of Landis is long since gone. My allegiance lies wholly with the Empire.
Perhaps. But what of your brother? He did not accept us as you did. He fled to Dalmasca. Did you never think to follow him?
I follow his every move. He is an enemy of the Empire. He will be cut down.
So you would kill even your own brother for the Empire. Be that as it may, Gabranth, your ruthlessness is not without merit. But it must not become this way with Larsa. You must ensure that it does not.
So then you ask me to be his sword, to strike where he might not.
Rather be his shield. Gabranth, keep your close watch on Vane. His is the keenest blade of all.
My lord.
Do this for me, Gabranth. I could not bear to see my sons war with each other again.
Man, I love this setup here. So, Gabranth, who we really don't like because he's very much opposed to Bosch this whole time. Now, Gabranth is going to be like the personal guardian of Larsa, who seemed pretty alright. So, aren't we going to be friends now? And yeah, the Emperor used to have many sons. Only 2 remain.
Whoa. This come in handy often?
It's tough being popular. Wouldn't want any admirers dropping in while we're away.
Cool, the Stroll has active camo.
Well now, that's as far as she goes. We'll be in yacht from here onwards.
Across the Sand Sea, to the Valley of the Dead, and to King Wraithwall's tomb below.
So when you're in yacht, skystones don't work at all. That's why we gotta hoof it the rest of the way, you see?
Happy you get to teach me something for a change?
Well, if you want to be a sky pirate, you gotta know your... Hey, what do you mean for a change?
Come on,
At least we thought to bring entertainment.
Oh yeah? Says who?
That's why they're here. Well, hopefully their young, naive perspective will be useful. Much like perhaps the Emperor sees Larsa's. But wow, what a setup. Also, let's talk... So, yeah, the Stroll now is in the air here. You can see its anchor, and you can see our crew. Here it is. Check it out. Look, and it's our crew. Hello, No-No. Don't worry about the Stroll, Kupo. I'll keep an eye on her. No, wait. Both eyes. So, hold on. They should explain maybe a little more. I mean, in theory, we could go up there, couldn't we? And fly around. We could just travel anywhere. But we're actually going to be tasked with using the teleport crystals as we go. So, also, in that cutscene... You heard a little bit more about Sid. So, yeah, that was the crazy guy that Gabranth was leaving the room in Rabanastre, and Sid wandered in, like, talking to himself, and Gabranth listened very carefully. He heard that comment about Nabudis, and he just related to the Emperor. So remember, I mean, the Emperor is the top dog, so anything dodgy that Gabranth hears Vane's doing, he tells the Emperor, and we got the back half of that conversation. What was that? Another judge is missing somewhere? Judge Zect? What the hell happened at that capital? What was that? Well, keep it in mind. So, now, where the hell are we? Let's open the map. We are at the Wester Sands, which is where we killed the Thexterra before. But we killed the Thexterra way back next to Rabanastre. You will see, we have jumped forwards. This always makes me think of Guild Wars 1, honestly, with the campaign missions that jump you further in. We could have travelled here ages ago, but guess what? There would have been a blockade right before the Valley of the Dead here, as it was just referred to. There would be Imperials standing around. So this is one of those blockade areas. And that is the way we're going now. The world has opened up a little bit more. We can talk to this desert merchant. called Lowen. Don't let the desert sun get the best of you. If you're low on supplies, now's the time to stock up. And he has a ton of really valuable stuff. Like, I'm really not joking. This is probably one of my favorite merchants in the game. You'll see it's all ridiculously pricey. My money is so low on this playthrough, but don't worry, we've got another farm that we're right next to now. He's got so much incredible wares. First of all, the wizard stuff I guess we can buy. Really need to start getting Fran onto those. I'm going to get myself some LP in a moment. Really good armor he's got. Extra accessories are becoming available. There's new techniques that are here. This one here called horology. This is the main thing that we should be going for. In fact, I kind of wanted to get that. Well, I shouldn't have bought the other skill. Also, new magics. Look at this. Quake is now available. Aero. So, aero. I said the last element with water. I want to be clear. I meant of like the traditional 4 Final Fantasy elements. There's earth damage available here for any time mage we have, which Ash can use time magic. And there's aero here as a bit of a higher level black magic. So you kind of get the 3 basic ones. Water's a bit later, and then finally wind. We saw just a second ago that Judge Geese was using aero. It's a really deadly ability, especially in vanilla where it could be AoE. And so you beat him and your reward is now you can buy it. Also, we can get AoE healing. We are going to go into a long adventure here, so being stocked up is very important. If you're westward bound, travel lightly, boy. Not all the races you'll meet in the Sand Sea are of the civilized variety. And mind the weather. Nice, clear days. The elementals come out in droves. Don't want my customers dying. Bad for business. So, for the first time, we don't, well, in a while, we don't really have a guest here with us. You can do something a little bit sneaky to get a guest instantly. I'm going to hold off on that. And I'm actually going to return us just to do a quick bit of unfinished business here. So the Wayward Banger says, I'm about the end of my rope. I was crossing the desert, making for Rabanastre, when a sandstorm hit. I got all turned around. Which way you headed? Well, actually, first, I'm just going to say we're going back east towards Rabanastre. If you're going east, you've got to be going to Rabanastre. I'd love to join you, but I'm too exhausted to think about it right now. I tell you, I had a time getting here. Didn't know when, where I was or where I was going. You get caught in a sandstorm, you be careful. So the game with the sandstorms is at vanilla. This overlay map, sorry, in earlier releases, this overlay map was not on screen. You couldn't pop it up. And so what they do is when a sandstorm comes in, they'll like blur the mini-map so you can't really see where enemies are or what's going on, which is basically the way that I always play the game. But in the re-releases, you just pop this and the whole thing is ruined anyway. So all of that design is gone from the games these days, which kind of sucks unless you disable the overlay map and stuff. But yeah, that's one of the things about sandstorms that you really want to might pay attention to. So anyway, a couple of new mandragoras here. These are called alaroons, and what's really good about alaroons is this. Steal. Hopefully Varn can before it dies. We took a while. Varn stole a succulent fruit. So what do desert people like? They like being hydrated. They like sweet, sugary things. They like their figs. Well, succulent fruit is something you can steal from these plants. You can actually often steal, like, foodie kind of loot and items from these things. You notice when he got low health, he used fire, by the way, just like way back at the start with the rogue tomato. You can steal fruits, and fruits sell for a lot at the bazaar. I've always liked that because I feel like, you know, they would in this kind of climate. So, and it's described as succulent, guys. Succulent. So, there is a farm here where you can kill and chain a bunch of these alaroons, which not only you steal the fruits from, but you can actually get them to drop the fruits as well. And in that way, you get a load of money. So we will be doing that in just a second. I kind of wanted to discuss that in a bit, but hey, we've got some extra ones here. Now, where am I going? Yes, back to Rabanastre. You might be wondering, why didn't I just use the teleport crystal? Like, that would have been a good idea. Also, let's go back to active now that the boss fight's over. That's because there's a very special item here. In all editions of the game, you really want to focus on an item. It's to do with the chests and something I mentioned just a few parts ago when we were in Lowtown. Remember, every chest has a chance to spawn, a chance to be gil, a chance to be an item, and then it's either a regular item or a rare item. So there is an accessory that when you equip changes the loot. Now your instinct might be to think, okay, it guarantees you the rare item. That would be a good system, wouldn't it? Turns out it's not that. It doesn't guarantee you the rare item. Instead, it swaps both the common and the rare item to a totally new assigned thing. And yes, oh, look at how good that is. That emote keeps Balthea safe. Oh, I really love it. I really, really, really love it. Disable's even better, but it's very MP heavy, so you kind of want to... I don't like gambiting disable. I like to manually do that. So, instead of it just giving you the rare drop, there's going to be totally new drops in every chest in the game. Nuts. Now, here's the thing. In the original release, they had, like, painstakingly gone through... and they had made it so that all the chests actually did have kind of something fun and new, different, or most of them did. And then, and I don't know why they did this really, in the Zodiac Age remaster... Oh, are we going the right way? We are. By the way, little notification here. A rare creature appears. That says that there's a rare game here, and it says there's a rare skeleton. He's called the Fidellian. Maybe we'll have a quick peek at him in a second. We're going to go this way. In the original game, this item and this accessory all worked super well. 2-shot on the wolves now. In this edition, since IZJS, they made it crap, guys. They made it crap because... Do you remember when we were in the Naubana dungeon? We opened those chests that gave us knots of rust, which is an item you can throw in combat and it does like random damage and barely any random damage. So like, why would you bother with it? They're good as like an execute thing, like we had Vossler using with the aero moat before. But that's it. So those items, the knots of rust, you're just going to get them everywhere now in International Zodiac job system. I'm not joking. You equip this thing hoping for better loot, and it just gives you knots of rust. Like 95% of the time, it's a knot of rust, which is obviously way worse than the default loot you'd get, which can sometimes offer you gear that's appropriate for this area of the world. Here he is. Here's the Fidellian. We can try and take him out. Let's throw a Libra moat and see what his health is. He should be doable because we're not exactly in a high-level area here. Let's see. He's a little bit out of range here, and there's a billion wolves in the way. My God. Does he have to be walking all the way over there? Really? Christ. Couldn't he have just been patrolling slightly towards us? Okay, 10,000 health, weak to holy. But he is undead, so I think we can do it because we can do some nice little tricks, particularly with high potions, and we'll get Pinello out, so we'll try that. So, yeah, that's my little rant about this accessory we're about to get. I honestly thought we would have had the accessory already. I do not like this right now. He just keeps spamming it. Because Immobilize isn't 100% accurate, if it happens to miss, even though everyone's immobed, Varn's going to just piss about, wasting his time spamming it more. Also, we need Pinello in because Varn is getting low. And obviously Balthea's good as well. Wow, we just survived. Look at that combo because we only had 7 health. 8-hit combo. Wow. I'm scared of him coming over now. Varn decides to attack the one closest to the over aggro. Good stuff. Looks like he's not attacking us. So listen, the undead are really bumbling. They can hardly see anything. In vanilla, they have really good hearing, which means that they just kind of charge at you. But beyond their hearing, they become very, very, very bumbling. So, he actually didn't attack us because we didn't stand right next to him or in his line of sight. I want to be clear that even if they don't see you, if you just get too close to something, it has radius detection and it will find you with that. Right, so here we go. The Fidellian. Now, what I'm going to do is tell Pinello, this is just worth having set up, to use Cura, or Cure, whatever she's got, on foe undeads. See this here? And we'll have it as a higher priority than sleeping things. Now, because he's undead, she's going to cast Cure on it. And in fact, we can get Barsh out and tell Barsh to do the same if we buy him another Gambit slot. Is there one available? There is up here. Because Barsh is kind of this white paladin kind of thing. He does also have white magic, so we'll go Barsh. Exact same setup. We'll give him his Cure spell. So Barsh, by the way, has very low magic power. So his Cure won't really do as much healing or as much damage as a proper white mage would do. But it's still going to be better than an attack. So here we go. So they are... We're going to drain it down. And he's at the entrance. And now, obviously, he's aggroed. And so he's weak to Holy. We don't have Holy Element. There is a way to get it later. And then, of course, Balthea, with his super strong potions, he can high potion the Fidellian. Looks like we've aggroed a bit of extra here. So Balthea has changed targets. Oh, and the Fidellian has managed to get us all poisoned. which is fine because Pinello now has Poisoner. So you can see the game starting to flow now. You get the right party member in at the right time and they can deal with these challenges. So instead of us just losing a ton of health and having to spam antidotes here, instead we're going to... and here, look, the blind, the AoE blind. Well, Pinello should... Oh, mind you, I put Cure on the highest priority for her. Also, I'm not digging the spears. I'm not digging it, Balthier. Maybe later. Let's give him his Capella plus the silent shot. And he should do a lot more damage. Balthier is actually one of the strongest fighters in the party, in my opinion. So, what's kind of annoying is he's going to miss because he's blind. So, let's get Pinello to use Blindner here. And let's just... And since he's blind, in the meantime, let's get him to throw a potion at the Fidellian. 2,400. He actually managed to get a lot of damage there. So, another one on the Fidellian. She wants to use Raise, but she doesn't have the MP. Oh my god, he's using Quake. Oh god. Okay, hold on. Leave remote. And let's get a couple more people in. Let's get Ash in. We can only have 3 at a time. Okay, now what's his health at? 760. So one more high potion. Wow, we've just used all our high potions to kill the Fidellian early. Also, look at this. The Fate's Jest. We put Van out, and he has the Doom Dagger, remember? His first attack doomed it, which means it would have died in 10 seconds anyway. Like, we could have just done that right at the start, and this fight would have been easy. Doom is especially good because we wouldn't have got his health low, technically, which means that he wouldn't have cast Quake or any of these mechanics that unlock as he gets low on health. So, yeah. Damn it. Well, there you go. Wait. Yeah, there you go. Pinello throws it. And he's dead. So he dropped something pretty good. Really, we want to be poaching stuff like that. That Oostrix attacking us. That was nasty. Also, him having Quake at low health. That was scary stuff. Right, so we're going to run around on Pinello. And she's healing Ash here. She should get the MP for Raise in a moment. I'm not going to use an Ether. Because we're kind of close to the town. And we're kind of close to the save crystals and so on. Anyway, my goal has been this entire time. You see here at the Windtrace Dunes. There's that little island. That's where we're going. So, instead we move down to this map here. I don't remember this being such a walk. Honestly. I'm actually amazed. So this is where the rare wolf was. Do you remember that I talked about you could steal the Gladius dagger from? So here, by the way, yeah, because we'll raise him in a second. I'm just going to hold Flee so that we skip past these guys. And we can't get to that wolf. That was an isolated little section. Instead, take note of this, that there's a cave there. Can you see that behind that bird? By the way, a proper flyer there, that dive talon, a real flyer. Those we could have been fighting from the very start of the game, by the way. The very start. They have a chance to drop a flame staff. But they also, they have a very special ability that means they destroy themselves when they get low on health. So it's hard to get the loot. Anyway, we're not going in that cave. That cave is very creepy and will annihilate us. Instead, we return to the Windtrace Dunes, which is right next to, but again, in a little isolated section. Van's up. And you'll find we're back near some Alaroons. Up here is where the gear is. The only things defending it are 2 Alaroons. There's no rare game or anything like that. Pinello, come on, get 1 more MP. There you go. That's annoying. Van died. I should have known that was going to happen. I should have kept playing her. It's that she's got so little MP because we've had her spamming such expensive stuff. You really don't want to be using Raise. I think in vanilla, Raise is kind of one of those moments where the game just becomes completely boring because there's no threat or anything anymore. But it is very pricey on the MP, and if you're relying on it, you're going to run out, and then you're not going to have regular healing, and then you're really going to start messing up here. So Pinello is a Gambit slot shy. Has she got any nearby? Damn, she doesn't. There must be another one near somewhere. I mean, I gave her so many. I'll tell you what. Given what I just said about Raise, let's turn that off. And then let's have her spamming water again. Up here, for example. And let's have her just do that on the lowest HP foe. Down here. Oh, I should have just swapped that. What am I? I'm such a numpty. Well, whatever. We'll do it this way. And so we can spam some damage out. This wolf is the last thing guarding them. One more nice little antidote there from Fran. So yeah, sometimes Gambits overlap. Like, Pinello might want to use Poisoner and someone else might want to use the item. So it will tend to go for the item first. This box here, the Diamond Armlet. There we go. So that's going to update all the loot in the game to give us Knots of Rust at a 95% chance and at a 5% chance you might get a really powerful item that when you throw it does a crazy amount of damage. Like, a really, really, really strong effect. But it's just like this stupid gamble that it's such a dumb mechanic. So what's actually happening in my playthrough here with this setup with SFF, the Diamond Armlet does what you want it to. It makes the rare drop the common drop. That's it. That's all it does. So it's really worth equipping. Now, the thing about the Diamond Armlet is when you walk over to a chest, say on Pinello here, if I run over to a chest, it has to be the character you're actually controlling that's wearing the armlet that opens the chest. You can't just, like, equip the chest onto Fran and then open a chest on Balthea. If you do that, then you're going to go back to the original rates. Does that make sense? So the Diamond Armlet kind of enforces a viewpoint character of sorts while you're running around the world here with all the sand dunes and so on. The upside is every single party member can get the license for the Diamond Armlet. It's available to all of us. And so, wow, where are we now? Oh, okay, I remember. So question mark, question mark, question mark. Where could this possibly be, guys? It's the Giza Plains. How nice is this? Very, very, very good. And so this was the route we could have gone a few parts ago. Actually, not many parts, but a few parts ago. Where I proposed we go to kill the Thex Terror with the help of Barsh and so on. We could have, like, skirted Rabanastre itself. So yeah, everyone can buy it. It just depends who do you want to buy the license first. And, you know, you can customize to your heart's content. We're going to do a lot better here now. This is like the starter area. Look at that. We'll just destroy everyone. Got loads of AoE damage. And we're actually pure caster team right now. I like it. That's kind of weird. It's sort of like the girl team is the caster team in the way that I'm playing here. That was not really intended, and it won't necessarily always be true like this as we go forwards. So a couple of things in Giza. First of all, I do want to buy Poach. Really important. So let's see if we got enough succulent fruits and we can sell enough stuff. Poach costs 5k. It's just one of the many really good things for us to buy. Poach will help us get really good stuff from all these rare game. And to be honest, it's also a great assassination technique because you get an enemy HP critical and then Poach insta-deletes them. So if they're HP critical but nonetheless have like 2,000 health, Poach will just finish them off, which is really good. So let's see. Wolf pelts. Succulent fruits worth 300 a pop. These fruits are rather bitter when raw, but when properly cooked, they become a delectable, mouth-wateringly sweet treat. Molting here. Brittle skin. Molted as its former occupant outgrew its compass. Abundant and cheap. These are often ground into powders. Think of that. Those horses are massive, guys. And they molt. They molt their entire, like, metallic skin. Gross. So we got some more of these. Stormstone. I guess we got that bone fragment from the Fidellian there. We're still pretty shy, honestly. We're pretty shy. Also, a bunch of stuff's appeared. Now, these are good. Hope for the best, plan for the worst. Kit contains potions and tufts of Phoenix Down at a price no bargain hunter dare pass by. So we get 2 Phoenix Downs, 2 potions. Tinctures and tonics. 5 potions, 3 handkerchiefs, some gold needles. Cypress pole there. So, yeah, we're not going to be able to afford it. What I will do, though, is return us here in a moment once I've collected some more of those fruits. For now, let's go north. Now, also, if you are playing along and you feel like you're running out of Libra motes, at this point, you'll see that the crystals are lit up again. In fact, earlier they might have been lit up again. You can now speak to the woman. In fact, I'll just show you guys that real quick. I won't do the whole quest, but I will show you. You can speak to her. Don't often get visitors. What is it? Can you tell me about sunstones? Did you notice the crystals? Are you interested in making some? Sure, why not? So, if you do this fast... And when I say fast, I mean it's actually pretty quick. Now you just fill it with light and you'll make a sunstone. She will pay you for your work and you'll get Libra motes. So I'll actually demonstrate that just here. So let's just run through. We'll use the turbo mode. So it does have its uses, you know. I kind of did that bit of a oh god, that we've gone the wrong way here. I mean, this is the way it's meant to be played. You look for them and you might go the wrong direction. You know, I did that whole talk about turbo mode not being that great. I think as a general principle of using it constantly all over the game, it's not that great. But if you use it sparingly, and if you can have that kind of self-control, maybe it is. But I mean, who am I to police that about the way that people play, you know? Looks like we need one more. Honestly, I got 3 there, but it looks like we need one more. There's 2 of them glowing all the way over there. So I guess the limit goes up. Most players don't do this, but if you do want a good amount of Libra motes, it's a nice way to stock up. Just be sure that you don't accidentally leave the whole territory, which is something I almost did a second ago. How do we get to this one? There we go. Nice. Now the question is, do we have to return to her as well? Or are we going to teleport back, just like we did before with Jin? Let's see. 100%? We get the nice sound. A new sunstone. I suppose we could just hold on to this now, right? Piece of magicite made from shadestone that's been infused. That's the same description as before. We could just hold on to that as a key item now. I guess for the true hardcore players, that's something they like to do, right? Okay, so let's return to her. I've got the sunstone, ... I see you made it. Sell the sunstone. It's of the highest grade. You don't see many of these. 200 gil, 10 Libra mote, and a holy stone, which is some loot we can sell. Also, while we're here, do you remember Mont Blanc told us about the cluckatrice? You hear about the bill I posted? It's a high time someone came. Didn't know what I'm going to do about this creature. Our cockatrices are terrified. They hardly eat. They won't go for walks. Their nerves are shot. The poor deers are starting to fall ill from it. Will you hunt this creature for me? Wonderful. I thought you'd said yes. Now, let me tell you just what's going on. A vile creature called a cluckatrice has recently made its nest in the land to the east. Recently, its eggs hatched, and it's now viler than ever. What's worse, the cluckatrice shies away when people approach. It's clever, this one. For our sake and the sake of the cockatrices, kill the cluckatrice and every one of its foul brood. Now, we are definitely going to be too weak for that until we buy that equipment. So, I'll come back to this in a moment, but it's worth talking to her while we're here. The nest must be near here, but I have no idea how to go about drawing it out of hiding. Try as I might, I haven't come up with anything. Perhaps you should ask the children? They're often out in the plains. Maybe they can help. So once again, we have to ask for the advice of the children. I wonder if she tells us straight away. Normally you can go down to XI through the Giza, but the rains washed up a tree that's blocking the pass. Maybe the next rains will come wash it away? So yes, I always do that. If you watch enough of my videos, you will hear that I always flub the word away and say agay instead. I have no idea what that is. I think it's because I'm tempted to say again. So that G sound just sounds very natural to me after the A. Hell yeah, Pinello. Well done. You're not even the black mage and you destroyed him there. Good mage stuff right there. So yeah, you do hear a little bit about the continent of XI there. We don't really have to deal with XI, but I will note that, you know that mountain they mentioned? Mount Omises? That's in XI. Not really relevant to us, though. So, we are back. Good. Now, there's a couple of things that I want to do real quick. First, we'll hit the Rabanastre crystal here, just to refresh ourselves. Second, welcome to the Moogling Kupo. We're going to go to the west gate, which is, you know, where we would have entered from, you know, as we was coming through Giza there. We had a very high chance to appear here. And you'll notice that there's a guy standing here now, and they're sort of having a bit of a chat. I'm so glad all these people from Arcadia have finally gone. The aerodrome has reopened, and things are settling back to normal. Only a handful of routes open, though. A sign of the times. Few willing to risk travel with the world as it is. Wait, hold on. That's not what I thought it was. Is it later? Or is it this guy, maybe? I don't think it's this guy. Reluctant adventurer. It's desert as far as the eye can see out west of Rabanastre. Never been far than the west of Sound myself. A vicious tribe are rumored to live in the wastes beyond. Wait, hold on. That's where we're going. The wastes beyond? Man, okay. Never mind. I honestly thought that something would have appeared here right now, talking about the sandstorms. I guess that's a little late in the game. My bad, guys. Oh, man, I made a cup of tea before I sat down here. It's just starting to get cold. I got to tell you guys as well, it is unbelievably miserable in terms of real-life weather right now, so I'm really enjoying being out here at Rabanastre. It's like we're going through October as I record this, right? So it's getting very dark. The leaves are starting to fall off the trees. Very Halloween-y. There's that first chill of Halloween and autumn that's settling in, and the sun's starting to go away. And also, it's ridiculously overcast and clouded and rainy. I had an experience today where it was 11 a.m., and I had all the lights on in the house because it was so dark and gloomy and cloudy outside that it felt like the sun was about to disappear. That's how dark and the rain splatting on the window. And I have to say, it's horrible in some ways, but I could not feel cozier right now. This is a hell of a night. Sitting here, playing some Final Fantasy XII, drinking some tea. And I live like next to a big glass door as well, by the way, where the rain really bangs onto. So, what was I doing? There was a lot of things for us to come in. Oh, yeah, Kityin. So, remember this lady? Now, as the story progresses, you can return to her, and she might want to chat again. It is good to see you again. I have so little opportunity to speak with Humes, so you can never miss out on this. But if you do it at the earliest time, every time, you can get some really good gear really early, as long as you say the right stuff to her. Now, I'm just going to go with my gut here, and we will see what happens. I think a lot of players treat this quest as like a binary thing with, this is the outcome you must get, and it turns out it's being really mean to her. I'm just going to see where she ends up, because there's lots of places, and you know, I don't think sending her to the same place every time is the right thing. So anyway, my people keep to themselves. The number of visitors to our village could have been counted on a single hand. So I did long to come to a great city, such as Rabanastre. Wait, what did she say here? Her people keep to themselves, and barely anyone ever comes here. Huh, so Fran is kind of weird for being here. I wonder what Fran's deal is. Oh, and then she said, the wish has now come true, but this is not how I hoped it would be. So our input can be, you should have thought it through, or things will get better. Most players would say you should have thought it through. I'm going to say things will get better. I suppose a few things we go as we originally planned them. That is why we must struggle through life. I too will struggle towards my goal. Let's use the word struggle there, I guess. So, good luck, XII. Now, speaking of Libra motes, I don't really want to do the Sunstones, and I'm a little bit conservative as we've been playing, as you've seen. Mont Blanc, no doubt, will have some more for us as we travel. Now, here's the thing. Mont Blanc likes you killing monsters. So, actually, I think I might be wrong. What monsters have we killed? We run from some Bunga headhunters. We killed a judge and a ton of Imperials. Turns out he doesn't have anything for us. And in fact, we've done no hunts either. We've done no hunts. So we'll return to him later, but it is my goal to clean some of these hunts up soon. I think I'll batch them out together, maybe. But particularly when we're a bit stronger, I think I'll snap us back to Rabanastre. So that's all really. Speaking to XII, I thought that someone else was going to have something for us. You'll see, by the way, that the shops start updating back here as well now. They don't just sell only the early lame stuff. They'll sell you a lot of different things. Let's return now to... which gate was it? The south gate has the teleport crystal. By the way, look at this teleport crystal. There's one in Giza and there's one here. If you use a TP stone, you are literally teleporting one little map. That is all you are teleporting. It's really not my recommendation that you do that. Another thing we could do now is talk to Dallin, by the way. I won't worry. He has 12 updates, but they're all very, very minor. Nothing from Magello, though. And let's see what's in the supposed Valley of the Dead. Let's see what's going on with these tribe creatures here. And it's down through this menacing-looking place. And yet, we cannot fly in Yacht. Airships need this thing called Skystone. The Mughals are very good at dealing with that. And there's a lot of areas where Skystone just malfunctions. It won't work. And you might think that's a contrivance just to make us walk, but they do play with it in the story. So where are we heading? Well, hold on. Into one of the other continental areas. This is going to be Ordalia here. That's where the Rosarians are. Remember? Arcades top right, Rosarians. We're getting close to them. And in fact, maybe all this yacht between them and Rabanastre is why we've not been able to interact with them very much. It's no wonder we haven't heard too much about them right now, right? But surely as we move to the west, we'll see their influence. I mean, they're supposed to be a great superpower. I've always loved the idea of sand seas ever since this game. Something like that can actually happen in real life. I've seen a video, I'm not joking, in real life of like some water rushing through a desert and it made something like that.
So where exactly is Wraithwall's tomb?
Far to the west. We must first cross the Ogir Yensa, and beyond that the Nam Yensa, before we reach the tomb. An expanse of desert larger still than all of Delmasca. We must pace ourselves. If you grow tired, we stop and take rest.
You don't have to worry about me. I'm tougher than I look.
You are at that.
Oh, Barsh and Pinello bonding. So I remember the first time I ever played this game. This section was really exciting to me because I came into this with the mindset of someone who was a big fan of 10. There you go, new mace, the Bouge. I came into this with a mindset of someone who was a big fan of 10. And in 10, you know, the whole thing is like this one long pilgrimage, this one long adventure in one direction. 12 is a bit more sophisticated and zigzaggy than that. But I got here and I was like, oh, look, here we go. We're on an adventure. You know, I was thrilled with what we'd experienced at Bougerba already as well. But that was such a cool moment to me. And I also, the very first thing I ever saw of 12, to tell you the truth, at the start of this series, I told you it was that boot up cutscene. And kind of, yeah, that's true. But it's also true that I had seen a friend from school playing this game just before I got it. And because he'd got it on launch, we'd gone to get it on launch, and I wasn't sure if maybe I didn't have the money, to be honest, because I wasn't working at that time in my life, and I couldn't just get games from my parents. So anyway, he had it, and he had got to here. I think he'd got here in like a day, and I saw him playing this area, not this map exactly, but a little bit deeper in, which is no surprise to me because this is a real length of the game. By the way, really sneaky. Watch this. Throw these. There's a trap here, and chests can spawn here too. Chests which now we can guarantee good loot out of using the diamond armlet, as long as we buy the license, which I'll do very shortly. So yeah, this is a huge bit, and so I just have a lot of nostalgia, a lot of personal memories of the Ogre Yensa Sansi. So, bit of trivia for you here. This urn was always here, and what this does is this shows you. Oh, whoops, my bad. That's the Nam Yensa. This urn here. And you might think this is kind of weird, isn't it? Right, there's two urns. This is a map of the Ogre Yensa Sansi. When the International Zodiac job system came out, I guess, I don't know, maybe they lost players at this point or something. People got fatigued by it. I don't know, but they decided that you should have both of the maps right away. Like, you shouldn't have to find them. I think that ruins a big part of the progression through here. But, so, you know, because you're supposed to be getting lost walking on all these platforms here, which you're welcome to wonder why these are here, what's going on with them, by the way. So, and by the way, Fran is just not doing that much damage right now. I need to get her stuff. So, I think you're supposed to be walking along these long bridges. Like, which way do I go? This one's got boxes in front of it, so we're kind of alright. But what if we get multiple choices? And by the way, when I look out at the distance there, that's all real. It's just like the Garam Scythe waterway. It's a real choice you're making there. But now you just get the maps. The upside is it does sort of lay bare what we've got coming. Look at this. This is the Ogre Yensa. What an environment. And you see these extra little areas off on the side. It's not all linear at all. After all those criticisms they had about doing just long corridors, well, look at this. And there's a whole side of this with Final Fantasy that I haven't talked about yet. And that is how the franchise struggled to move away from the world map system. The classic Final Fantasies all had this idea that you're out on this big world map overlay area. And honestly, that feature, it appeared in 7 and 8 and 9 and so many of the games before. I'm pretty sure all of them before. That feature gives you an impression of a lot of open worldy kind of exploration, even if in truth it's pretty binary and pretty linear in where you go a lot of the time. When they moved to the PS2 era, they decided not to do those. And that's why 10 ended up like such a linear slog for those who have played that game. But they got criticism about that. So then with 12, they tried to change it up again. And this is what you got in 12. There's no world map, but you get this kind of thing where there's so many different directions to go in. Kind of undermined by the fact that once you get the map, you can easily spy the correct way to go. Kind of undermined by the fact that they put, you know, markers leading you around everywhere. And, you know, you can just see they're in this really experimentative place where there's a lot that they're playing around with. There's a lot of weird stuff happening in the design and under the hood that they just haven't quite figured out. Even to this day, when I played Final Fantasy 15 last year, I still look at the way they're handling stuff. In 15, they start looking at, you know, the way that, like, I think GTA and other Western open worldy kind of experience end up running. So, yes, it's like the big struggle of this franchise, transitioning from those earlier ideas into the later ones. And you see that a lot with all these franchises that have gone from, the classic era of, you know, Nintendo systems to more recent stuff, you see they all struggle in their own way. You see how Mario had to adapt over the years. You see how, I think the Sonic franchise is really fun to look at and see how that struggled over the years to redefine itself and decide what is best. And Sonic's had, in particular, all these different eras you can look at. And I think Final Fantasy's gone through that too. That was a big thing here with 12, exactly how everything's laid out. So anyway, you'll notice we're going very slow here. It's because we're under-geared, and we're not even stealing from these things. It's in particular because Fran, I could probably have spamming a stronger black magic, like water or something. I mean, hell, it's a little bit better for her to use the bow. The bow's pretty good, by the way. It's quite a rapid-fire ranged weapon. Compared to the other ones, it's pretty fast. I think bows can crit. Crossbows can combo as well. I think that's a difference. We could put Ash on a crossbow pretty soon. But as we walk forwards here, I do have a very good reason for it. Look at that view. Who built all this stuff, guys? We found another rare game here.
A construct to draw oil from the ground. Abandoned many years now, it seems.
Did Dalmaskans build this?
No, the Rosarians. Their empire lies far to the west, ever at war with Arcadia. Heedless of the kingdoms caught in their midst. Dalmasca, Nabradia, Landis.
'Tis the small craft's fate to watch the list of the galleons and pray for light winds.
Vosla, why are you here?
Imagine my surprise when upon my return to Bogerba, I find both you and the Lady Ash have vanished. I thought you above consorting with sky pirates.
Balthier is a man worthy of our trust, and it was the Lady Ash's decision. I am content to lend my arm, as I could not when Rassler died, when her throne was taken. Never again. I will defend her this time.
You walked the Knight's path. The Lady Ash?
Remember, in that opening cutscene, Bosch was there with Rassler as he died. He saw it.
We should leave this place.
Let me guess. Sandstorm?
Something far worse.
I like how these two are hanging out on their own.
I see. So the Dawn Shard does lie in King Wraithwall's tomb. The Marquis sympathizes with your plight, yet the Empire perches as a carrion bird on his shoulder. He can keep whispers of your abduction silent for only so long.
Yes. Tell me, Vossler, what have you accomplished?
We leave at once. This is Urutan Yensa territory, and they are unfond of visitors.
Uh-oh. But hold on, he got interrupted. What's he been up to? He was away for a bit there. Look at these things. So the Uteran are the guys riding. The Yensa are the creatures they're on. So, look, the Star Wars stuff is pretty evident here to me. But again, the studio kind of stood against it. Look, they sail in the sand seas. This is amazing. It's a shame in the combat system you don't really get to see them doing that much. But how cool is that, honestly?
Looks like we've attracted the wrong sort of attention. Let's quit this place while we still can. Move!
Vossler, have you found the means to restore Dalmasca?
First, we must claim the Dawn Shard. It all begins with that.
Oh, so you do have an idea. Wow, okay. I love hearing that, by the way. All the nations caught in their midst. We heard a little bit about Landis again. Even Gabranth and the Emperor were talking about it too. The Emperor said, look, I laid siege to your homeland. Are you not going to be like your brother and disloyal to the Empire? And it's funny, you might be wondering like why the two split up. I know I certainly was. It's kind of a simple idea, really, and that's just that the Gabranth stayed. And so now it's an Arcadian province, so as he rises through the ranks, he rises through theirs. But Barsh had left. So, yes, you kind of have these two brothers that become these great knights and these great warriors, but for opposing nations. So, that is the main thing I wanted to do. We get a little hint there about the Rosarians, who once tried to tame this land. They were pumping oil out, big industry here. But they're not here anymore. It's all fallen into ruin, because this land is the territory of the Yensa. Fun stuff. But check it out. We've got Vossler back. Nice. On the next part, I'm going to talk to you guys a little bit more about this King Wraithwall guy. What is this tomb we're going to? Also, yes, we had the Dusk Shard. That was a treasure of the Dalmascans. They kept that. We've lost it now, but Ash knows about another shard. This one's called the Dawn Shard. And hopefully it will do the same thing. It'll prove our heritage, because that's what those stones do, right? Right? Well, I'll see you guys for all that good stuff next time. Between the two parts, I'm going to run back and forwards through these first 3 maps, which have Alaroons in them. And I'm going to build an epic chain of Alaroons, probably on turbo mode, and steal as many succulent fruits from them as possible to build LP and get money. And at the start of the next part, we are going to have a good amount of cash, and we will travel through as we see fit. So I'll see you guys for that next time. There's so many good spells and things we can get now. We're really going to get geared up. It's going to be fun. Also, I've got so many points to spend on our jobs. See you tomorrow. I don't know whether I want it to stop raining or to keep raining. See you soon, guys.